All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome in, Endzone to Endzone. It is the off season. It's your boy Cat in the Hat with the AFC Eastieeboys. Maybe we'll get Charlie Waffles rolling up in here, and anybody else who wants to roll up in here and chit chat about some football because it's the off season. But the NFL never disappoints in dropping some great news even in the off season. That's right. We got Mike Vrabel out there doing some things he probably shouldn't be doing. We're gonna talk about it. We got Dexter Lawrence wanting out of New York. We're gonna talk about it. We got the Jaguars changing their mind on the whole Travis Hunter situation. We're gonna talk about it. Got Devon A-Chain holding out of the voluntary workouts. New coach Jeff Hafley. Trust me, we gonna talk about it. Got a whole lot going on. The NFL's under investigation from the Department of Justice. We gonna talk about it. As well as a lot more news going on around the league, like Josh Allen having a baby. Congratulations. Not much to talk about there, just dropping some news. He's had a baby girl this past week, so he's excited for that. Glad it happened in the off season for him, so he can get all that time with no sleep out of the way. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe, especially if you're new. Hit that subscribe button. We will not disappoint you, for sure. But you know the deal. If you want to hop up here, you want to chit chat about some football, go ahead. Hop up in the Discord. If you know, you know. That's all I got to say about that. If you know, you know. Some other news from around the league. We had the Houston Texans choosing to take the fifth-year option on C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. We're going to talk about that. Bijan Robinson got the fifth-year option. We're going to talk about that. Whole lot to talk about. This morning. But let's go ahead and let's start with the Dolphin stuff. Let's start with the Dolphin news. Let me just go ahead. Hold on. Let me share this around. All right. Sorry. Just had to share that out there to the world. Get people joined in so we could talk about some football. Ladies and gentlemen, the Devon A-Chain, man. Devon A-Chain holding out. Voluntary workouts started on Tuesday of last week. Not a whole lot that you can do. Mostly kind of just meeting the coach, meeting the coaches, the staff. Kind of the coaches are giving their run throughs of their expectations and what they want this season to look like and what they want the team to look like and act and present themselves. Not a whole lot you can do working out, but it's still new coach, new coaches, new GM. Like, my personal opinion, I don't care if you're holding out. Like, you're in contract negotiations right now, and it's not exactly going in your favor. But at the end of the day, like, you heard Sully, you heard Halfley, you heard them saying that they plan on getting something worked out. They want to get something worked out. So why not just show up? Why not just show up? You already can see that Sully and Halfley, they're not playing games. Devon A-Chain, they're not playing games. They like team oriented players. They want team friendly players on their squad. And by you holding out, that's not a good look at the end of the day when it comes to the type of player they want in that locker room. Do you have the talent? Do you have the skills? No doubt about that. There's no doubt in my mind that Devon A-Chain is a top 3 running back in this league on any team. Game changer, difference maker. But it's not a good look holding out on the voluntary meetings. I do believe that we got some. It's still a few hours. Monday mornings is usually when the Miami Dolphins like to drop the news. They love dropping news on Monday mornings. We still got a few hours before you might see some Devon A-Chain news dropping. What type of news can it be, though? It could be one way or the other. One way or the other. We're going to see. Can either see some news that he's getting traded, or we can see news that they're getting his contract worked out. But me personally, I don't think it was a good idea for Devon A-Chain to hold out. I don't think it was a good idea for him to not show up. Let me know what y'all feel about that. I get it from his standpoint that he wants his contract done. He wants his contract worked out. But like I said, man, Sully already said that they plan on getting the contract worked out. They're getting the contract worked out. They want to get it done in the summertime, and it's a done deal. They've expressed multiple times that A-Chain is their guy. So it wasn't a good move on A-Chain to sit there and hold out like that. Me personally, I would have showed up. I would have showed that I'm a team player. Yeah, I'm waiting on my money. I want my money. Y'all know I want my money. But I'm going to be a team player. I'm going to show up and see what these guys are talking about. And then I'm going to get my money. But now, that's a check mark in the wrong box, buddy. Not showing up. Not showing up. Like, yeah, he came out in the presser and said, Halfley said he's not really worried about it. But let's be real. He's just saying that to the media. We all know that he's going to remember that when it comes time for trade talks. Snap count. He's going to remember who showed up to that voluntary meeting and who didn't. So, hopefully it doesn't affect anything. Hopefully they still get a contract worked out with Devon A Chain. Hopefully we see here in the next couple hours that they are getting the contract worked out. But it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. But I would like to know y'all's thoughts and opinions on the Devon A Chain situation. Is it something we should worry about? Should we not worry about it? Do you feel like that's a signed, sealed, delivered situation where we're going to see Devon A Chain now get traded? Or do you think that they're just not going to worry about it and they're going to work on his contract and get his contract done before OTAs start so that we don't get him holding out of OTAs? Let me know y'all's thoughts. Let me know y'all's opinions. Thanks. Leave it down below. But if we want to stay in the AFC East for now, dropping some bombshell of the news, we got Mike Vrabel out there doing some things that he probably shouldn't be doing. Out there hanging out with Diana Rossini. Diana Rossini. Let me read what they got here. So it was recently reported by Page 6. That's the reporting agency. They're called Page 6. On April 7th, they published a series of exclusive photos of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini at the Ambient Resort in Sedona, Arizona. Sedona, Arizona. An adults-only boutique hotel. The images reportedly taken on March 28th show the two in several intimate-looking settings. The rooftop, standing close together and interlocking fingers on a private bungalow rooftop during the sunset, relaxing side by side in a hot tub and lounging by the pool, and then having breakfast on the hotel patio at around 10:30 a.m. Vrabel goes on to call this interaction completely innocent and laughable, stating that the rumors don't deserve a response. I seem to think otherwise, and there's a lot of other people out there that seem to think otherwise as well, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, and this is why I want y'all hit that link in the Discord. If you know how to get up here, you know how to get up here. Let's talk about the effect of this relationship between Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, whether it's an actual relationship or it's just a professional relationship, right? Either way, there is consequences to the league. In my opinion, there's consequences to the league, whether it's an actual relationship or just a professional relationship. Diana Rossini explained that the photos were misleading and that they were a part of a group of 6 people hanging out. She noted that reporters often interact with sources outside of the stadium. 100% facts. 100% true. If you look at those photos, that Page 6 reported, and you actually zoom out of those photos, you will see that there are other people there. It isn't just Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini. So she's not lying. There were other people around. It wasn't just the two of them. And then the second part She noted that reporters often interact with sources outside the stadium. Again, 100% true, 100% factual. It's how we get our sources. We got to do whatever we can to get that inside scoop so we could be the first one to present it to you. Same thing I was doing with Tyreek Hill. Same thing I was doing with Tyreek Hill, right? Going on his Twitch, asking him questions while he's live on Twitch, and reporting the news to you, getting it first. We got to do a lot of sneaky things in order to get information. A lot of sneaky things in order to get information. So, since the aftermath of it, though, we're gonna get into the my causation and effect of it in a minute, but we're gonna continue to run through it because since it's happened, Diana Rossini has been suspended. Reports indicate the New York Times, which owns The Athletic, has suspended Rossini pending a reinvestigation into her reporting and whether professional boundaries were crossed. Vrabel skips suppressor. In a rare move, Vrabel opted to skip the Patriots' pre-draft press conference on April 13th, sending executive Elliot Wolf instead. This has fueled speculation that his job security could be at risk if the team finds he violated conduct policies. Ooh. We keep rolling through. Fans noticed Rossini follows Mike Vrabel's son, Carter, on Instagram, leading to stepmom vibes comments going viral. Now, that's a little far. But, anyways. So, what kind of relationship is this? And, like, how does it affect the league? In my opinion, I feel like this is not good for the league, not good for the AFC East in general, because if this lady has access to other teams, right? So, like, what kind of information is she sharing in order to get the information that he's sharing? And that's how I look at it. I look at it like both of these two people are commingling, maybe not necessarily doing what a lot of people are suspecting. I don't necessarily think it's a situation where he's cheating on his wife with this reporter, but who knows? Could be happening, could not be happening. I'm not here to say whether that's true or not. I'm just here to talk about how I feel like this situation affects the AFC East. Because he's obviously giving her information. She's doing what she needs to do in order to do her job to the best abilities and being one of the first on the scene, the first with the info. Bam, there it is. But to go from a 4-13 team to a 13-4 team in 1 year, and then later coming to find out that he's been commingling with this reporter who also has access to other teams as well. Probably gets the same kind of insider information. So my question is, what is she sharing with him? What is she sharing with Mike Vrabel that could be detrimental or advantageous, if you want to use a big word? But basically, just saying that giving Mike Vrabel an advantage over another team if these two are sharing information. Now, they're both going to be going under investigation to figure out. So the NFL is going to dive deep into it. There's going to be people diving deep into it. Now, they're going to keep their hands clean for the rest of the off season. It's really a good timing for them because it's not like there's a whole lot going on right now anyways, so they don't need to be commingling at the moment. So it's really a good time for them to just like keep their hands clean and just stay away from each other, which they will do. But at the end of the day, the damage could have already been done. The damage could have already been done. Got all the information he needed through last year. Now, moving forward, like, if it stops, then we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if the Patriots can still come out and be as dominant as they were. So tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think it's a big deal that Vrabel and Rossini seem a little bit closer than your normal coach reporter relationship? Is it a big deal? Do you think that there's actually something going on there? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Let me know right after you smash that like and subscribe. Yo. Speaking about investigations, the NFL is under investigation right now. The NFL is under investigation right now by the Department of Justice. They officially launched an antitrust investigation into the NFL last week, around between April 9th and the 12th. This isn't just a minor inquiry. It strikes at the core of how the league makes its money and how fans consume the game. So literally, the DOJ is investigating the NFL on how that they've like handled their contracts through the years, and basically how us as consumers to watch football now we have to have all of these various streaming sites in order to watch games. Like, we can't just watch the games. There was an amendment that was passed back in the 70s that was supposed to make football free and accessible. Hold on, let me pull it up. Alright, so as it's written, the DOJ is investigating whether the NFL is engaged in anti-competitive practices regarding its media rights. The primary concern is that the league's current distribution model forces fans into a labyrinth of expensive subscriptions to watch games. The affordability crisis, a major catalyst, was a letter from senior Mike Lee, which highlighted that it now costs a fan approximately $765 to $1,000 per year to watch every game when accounting for cable and various streaming services like Netflix, Peacock, Amazon Prime, ESPN Plus, Disney, etc. The DOJ wants to determine if the NFL is creating an uneven playing field by favoring certain tech giants and locking out other providers, ultimately driving up consumer costs for you and I. This is the technical heart of the case, the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. That's what I was talking about. The Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 gives the NFL a special pass to negotiate media deals as a single group rather than the 32 individual teams. So basically, the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 allowed the NFL to sell all the rights as a whole instead of individual teams having to get rights to broadcast. The exemption was originally written for free broadcast television like CBS, NBC, Fox, and the investigators and policy experts are questioning if that exemption still applies when the NFL puts games behind digital paywalls and streaming only services that didn't exist in 1961. If the DOJ finds the NFL in violation, the consequences could be catastrophic for the NFL. Well, salary caps. Not for us fans. Forced price caps. The government could force the NFL to lower subscription costs for out-of-market packages. The league might be barred from selling exclusive rights to a single streaming platform like the Netflix Christmas games or the Amazon Thursday Night Football. If the antitrust exemption is revoked entirely, each team would have to negotiate their own TV deals, a move that would destroy the league's current revenue sharing model. So, I mean, me personally, I have kids, so a lot of these subscriptions I'm already paying for anyways, like Peacock and Disney. Like I'm already paying for those. So for me, that's not a big deal. But it is aggravating having to go around and continuously make sure that you have all these subscriptions, all these different subscriptions. Like I can't watch any Fox games. Any games that are on Fox, I have to go to the bar and watch them. Which I personally I don't mind. I don't mind going and hanging out at the bar and watching the game. 'Cause then I'm watching other sports too. Cause then I'm watching other sports too. But for those football fans out there that don't have kids, this could be for them because they don't need to have Disney Plus. They don't need to have Peacock. They don't need to have all these extra streaming services in order to watch football. Let's see what the actual site says about it. Oh, it's taking. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. So as we continue talking about some news from around the league, Dexter Lawrence wants out of New York. He doesn't want to be a Giant no more. Nothing surprising there. 3-time Pro Bowler officially requested a trade from the Giants. Where could we see Dexter Lawrence landing? Where could you see Dexter Lawrence landing? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below. Where do y'all think that Dexter Lawrence is going to land? I personally, I could see him heading over to the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys making a move for him. All right, so some other news around the league. We had Bijan Robinson and the Atlanta Falcons went ahead and gave his 5th-year option. They also gave the 5th-year option to CJ Stroud. And later, yes, I am. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know, cause no, maybe not. Like I work later today, like this evening.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm taking the car or if he's taking it.
Okay.
Because he doesn't need to pick Caden up. He can stay home and relax.
The Houston Texans, they have worse timing. They have the worst freaking timing. The Houston Texans and CJ Stroud also taking the 5th-year option. They also grabbed the 5th-year option for Will Anderson. But I think CJ Stroud really is the one to talk about here. I think this 5th-year option is a smart move for them. Obviously, we watched the Miami Dolphins make this mistake and paying a guy too early. And look where it put us. Like, the Dolphins have literally already been through this. So pay attention to what happened with them. The Houston Texans are playing it smart. I mean, CJ Stroud, does he deserve it? Does he deserve a contract? I mean, you go back and you look through his career. He was Rookie of the Year in 2023, putting up 4,000 plus passing yards, 20 plus touchdowns, not a whole lot of interceptions. Went to the playoffs. A lot of rushing yards were included in that. And then you look back at his, like, looking through his career. Looking through his career, so it's like, yeah, so in 2023, 15 games played, 63.9% completion percentage, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 2024, 17 games played, 532 completion or 532 attempts with 336 completions, a 63.2 completion percentage, 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So a lot more. He also got sacked 52 times that year. His rating dropped from 100.8 in 2023 to 87 in 2024. And then 2025, played 14 games, 64.5% completion, 3,041 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, got sacked 23 times. It's gone to the playoffs 2 out of those 3 years. Last year they went to the divisional round and they lost to the Patriots. And that was mostly because of CJ Stroud, right? It was completely because of CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's horrible play cost them that victory. Had they had a different quarterback, do they win that game against the Patriots? Do we see a different type of Super Bowl? I think so. So the Houston Texans are playing it smart, man. They're playing it smart. They're not paying this guy this year. They're like, look, like, yes, you have potential. You've done some good things, but we got to see something. We got to see some more consistency. Got to see you handle the ball better. You got to see you handle the ball better. You can't be throwing 4 interceptions in a playoff game when we're only losing by a touchdown. The defense in Houston is Super Bowl ready. It's the offense that's struggling. And that's why they're not paying him. That's why they're giving him that 5th-year option. I guarantee you Will Anderson will get paid before CJ Stroud will get paid. CJ Stroud's got to clean his game up, come in there, win a couple playoff games without turnovers, and then he can get paid. So this 5th-year option for CJ Stroud, it's a good move by the Houston Texans. It's a safety net for them. They don't want to end up like the next Miami Dolphins, looking at a really bad contract with a quarterback that's not ever going to get you over the top. Looking at a quarterback that's not going to get the wins for you, not going to get you to the Super Bowl. Now, on the other side, like I said, you got Will Anderson. I do believe that he's going to get paid. I do believe he's going to get his money. Ain't no doubt about that. Ain't no doubt about that. But Bijan Robinson getting the 5th-year option now, that's something I don't understand. That's something I don't understand. The only thing that I can think of in that situation with Bijan Robinson getting the 5th-year option and just not go ahead and getting the contract, because come on, that's Bijan, bro. He's clearly top 3 running back in the league, and clearly the best player on that team. The only thing I can think of is that the Atlanta Falcons know they're not competitive, right? They know that they're not in a win-now situation, even though they're in the worst division in the league, the easiest division to win in the league. Like, you can literally win that division with 9 wins and squeak into the playoffs, even though you don't belong there. You can find a way into the playoffs and possibly get a win, possibly get a run together and do something in the playoffs. Like, you have a chance to win, but in reality, like, if you were in the AFC or in any other division, pretty much you have no chance at the Super Bowl, no chance at winning, right? So that's why I'm thinking, like, maybe they know they're not going to win, so why try and tie this guy down? Running backs don't have a long shelf life. So, like, we could tie him down for the next 4 or 5 years on a high contract and it not do anything for us. Because they still don't have a quarterback. Like, Tua's not the guy. We just saw that. We saw him out there. He's out there chilling. He's out there chilling right now. Catching lobsters in the Bahamas on his yacht. Just chilling. Even though he should be in the field working. New coach, new team. But no. He out there just chilling. Not putting in that work. So they don't have a quarterback. And they don't have really anything to look forward to. So that's why I think that they didn't go ahead and give him a contract, put him on that 5th-year option, force the trade situation. Because now, Devon A-Chain, now that affects the Devon A-Chain, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That affects Devon A-Chain's value for the Miami Dolphins. Whether you want to believe it or not. At the moment, before Bijan Robinson was available, because he could still become available, right? Could request a trade. Not saying it's going to happen, but he could end up requesting a trade now. And if Bijan Robinson goes out there and reports that he wants to get traded from the Atlanta Falcons, that kills the value for Devon A-Chain. Because who are you going to take? Who would you rather take? Bijan or Devon? Bijan or Devon? I mean, I'm sure most of you out there would choose Bijan. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. Who would you rather have as your running back? Bijan Robinson or Devon A-Chain? Let me know down below. And we're gonna talk about that when I come back. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and hit that link. Come on up here. Let's talk some football. And when I get back, we're gonna dive into it. We got a lot more news from around the league that we're gonna dive into. So make sure you hit that link. Get up here and let's chit chat on some football. Some, that's for sure. He gets a pass to the left from Tua, about a 4-yard pass, and then he gets about another 16 yards. Yak to add to it. First down, Miami Dolphins. Let's effing go. Yeah. I had to kick Cat in the Hat out. He was fucking boring. I was watching him in the background. He didn't know it, but he was fucking boring. I had to kick him out. Tua under center. Let's fucking go. Mostert with the ball. Ooh, he juggles. He goes to the right. He's rushing. He's got a hole. Oh, he fumbled the ball. Oh, and Buffalo gets the fucking ball back. This is why you gotta trade Raheem Mostert. I'm fucking telling you. Yeah, I'm fucking telling you to trade that motherfucker. What's up, man? I hope his knee was down. I don't know if his knee was down before that ball came out. Oh my gosh, that's a clear fucking fumble. No way. Oh my god. Mostert. No. No.
Anyways, draft's coming up. A lot of teams need QBs, and you need a job, you bum. Got any teams you hope don't take a QB?
Nope. You know, Matt, I have actually not put much thought into that. I have a lot going on right now, and it's just not, I'm not thinking about it. Not at all.
So maybe the Saints?
We're in the house, and the only reason I got this one, probably a field goal like the rest of the Patriots games have been, but the Jets are going to definitely get a win. And then we start the 1 o'clock slate. They won with Malik Willis, and they did it by running the ball. Tennessee over the Titans. And then we got the Bears and the Colts. The ball, so he's kind of went run eccentric over there in the Chargers. And then got the Dolphins going to Seahawks. I got a lot of question marks. Not allowed to score in the second half, and we're going to fix this season. Anyway, so the Panthers and the Raiders. This is, well, not a hard one to call. I don't know. I may have to switch next year, I'm telling you, man. I can't go through the pain and suffering like this. This was rough. This was a rough fucking year. Yes, it was indeed. Anyways, yeah, so Cat and Hat here. Goel over there. We gonna break down wildcard weekend for you. We got a lot of games coming this weekend. It's gonna be super exciting. We got some upsets for you. I gotta show up and bring the fun, guys. You know this guy, Cat in the Hat, he boring. Boring. Can you just be serious for once, Goel? I mean, we have some great games to talk about. Just for once. Just let's be serious. Let's talk about some football. Can we do that?
Stout couple of games that they've been playing, but this is going to decide, right now who's going to be second place in the division. So I'm going Jets all the way. Jets, Jets for the win. We're taking it. With the Browns, the Giants have just been loser fest, and they're going to continue 0 wins, 3 losses. Moving on out of potential with Tua in questionable consideration. Even if they throw in a backup quarterback, they still got a lot of options for him to throw the ball to. They're not going to be as in sync as they were the last couple of weeks, and that's why I'm going with Seahawks over the Dolphins for you.
Now, there's a lot of homework that goes into this. We don't just look at stats and look at numbers. No, we take a lot of factors into consideration when picking these running backs for your fantasy. Tracy Jr. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, what, Cat? Are you seeing his first year ruling the backfield in Miami? He's going to be the number. My next running back on this list at number 3 is B. But, he's going to get the touchdowns. He's going to get the receptions. Trust me, if you get the chance to get him, you're number 1.
None other than the king. That's right. Adam Sandler put this guy on a mission this year. This guy is going to literally put the Baltimore Ravens on the first guy. He gets past the first guy. It's probably going to turn into a touchdown. So he's 6 once we realize how he comes back off of his injury. He hasn't really had a full year. At your own risk. It could pay off, but...
Sunday at 3 p.m., we're going to have the high-flying Eagles putting their defense to the test against the Los Angeles Rams. Are pretty high scoring, led by Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and they're on a mission right now. They're trying to win another Super Bowl so Matthew Stafford can punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame, because without another Super Bowl, he might not make it there. But them Eagles this year, ooh, with Saquon Barkley, I don't know why he's not in MVP conversations with over 2,000 rushing yards on the season. Don't forget that little backwards hurdle he did back in week 8. Oh, it was amazing. So let's go. It's going to be a good one. Good battle between these two teams on the NFC side. Who's going to go to the NFC Championship? Fly, Eagles, fly!
It's going to be in Orchard Park, and it is going to be chilly. Forecast says it's going to be 12 degrees with a wind chill of -2. Derrick Henry pushing close to 2,000 yards. Lamar Jackson. That makes the team have over...
What's up, guys? Today we're going to give you our Week 12 picks.
Yeah, you heard him. Week 12 is in the house at the Dolphins.
Patriots.
You know who I'm going for. I think we need to find a new home for this guy. He's in the wrong house.
No.
Let's go, Dolphins.
Bam, bam. So, yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. I gotta figure out how to get my camera to stop shaking. Shaking. So as it stands right now, and if as the Miami Dolphins are playing it with Devon A-Chain, they are expecting pretty high value. But like I said, if Bijan Robinson decides to come out and decide that he wants to request a trade, that's going to completely kill the trade value for Devon A-Chain, because you all would take Bijan Robinson over Devon A-Chain. So for some more Dolphin news, obviously we saw the Raheem Mostert clip, right? We saw the Raheem Mostert interview on 4th and South with Jarvis Landry and Leonard Fournette, where they came out and talking about the locker room with Mike McDaniel and how there were players putting hands on Mike McDaniel. Well, we reported it back in January. That player was Jalen Ramsey that put the hands on Mike McDaniel. And we got it reported from Tyreek Hill himself. Again, we reported it all the way back in January, and we posted it in our Discord. We did not post it on our YouTube channel because we didn't want to put the man on blast like that. He was still trying to get in, continue to be a Miami Dolphin, so I didn't want to put him on blast like that. But now that he's no longer a Miami Dolphin and Raheem Mostert went ahead and put Mike McDaniel on blast, I figured I should as well. So yeah, hit that Discord link, join the Discord, become a member of the Discord. It's a great place to be. It's how you can get up here and talk and chit chat football with the AFC Eastieeboys. We constantly drop in all kinds of news in there. We drop videos that you don't necessarily see on the YouTube platform or any of our other social medias. It's also a great place to be if you want to win any of our giveaways. We got to be able to find you. We'll hit you up in the Discord, send you a DM, get the details, and get your gifts sent out to you. So if you haven't already, hit that link. Go join the Discord today. Trust me. Cool app for communicating with the AFC Eastieeboys and other NFL fans from around the league. Like I said, we dropped that news back in January. You would have known back in January that somebody had put their hands on Mike McDaniel. And that's why Jalen Ramsey got traded. Rashee Rice was cleared of all his allegations, so there will not be any further action taken for Rashee Rice. So all you fantasy owners can go ahead and draft him, knowing that you're okay. You're safe and you're okay. But Cowboy player Marquise Bell, he is looking at some problems at the moment. He was arrested and charged with possession of a controlled substance and marijuana on Friday, according to Collin County Jail. So he's going to be receiving some penalties from the NFL, probably a couple games suspension. Kenny Moore II and the Indianapolis Colts are agreeing to seek a trade to find the veteran cornerback a new team. And then last but not least, the Green Bay Packers have traded Dontavian Wicks to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 5th-round pick in 2026 and a 6th-round pick in 2027. Now, where's Brucey Bruce at? I need Brucey Bruce here to talk about this, right? Because now that they went and grabbed Dontavian Wicks, and we've already seen A.J. Brown in the media, like rumors swirling about A.J. Brown going to a different team. We've seen A.J. Brown through the last 2 years express his emotions, right? He wants the ball. He wants to get the ball more. Not getting utilized enough. Out there jibber jabbering to the media. Basically causing commotion within the Eagles organization. Nick Sirianni has came out and stated that he doesn't know if A.J. Brown is going to be an Eagle in 2026. And now with this signing of Dontavian Wicks, and they went ahead and gave him $12.5 million. Where does that leave A.J. Brown? Where does that leave A.J. Brown? Does that mean he's going to get traded now? Are we going to see him? Are we going to see him traded to a contender? Or are we going to see him remain as a Philadelphia Eagle in 2026? What do y'all think? What do y'all think down below? Let me know down below. What do you think? If AJ's gonna go or not? Boop, 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 boop. Anyways, he's been asking for a trade. Like he's been expressing it. I feel like he's gonna get traded. I don't know when. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I don't know who it's gonna be to. Could it be the Kansas City Chiefs? Could we see A.J. Brown headed to Kansas City? I think that one would make the most sense. I think that would make the most sense. What are some other teams that could use a guy like A.J. Brown? Arizona? I don't think they could afford a guy like A.J. Brown. Who else? The Patriots went and grabbed Romeo Dobbs. They don't have Stephon Diggs. I mean, the Patriots could still use a guy like an A.J. Brown. Who else? The Rams are set. Seattle's set. San Francisco got Mike Evans. Buffalo got DJ Moore. I think Kansas City or Baltimore is the only ones. Baltimore is the best fit, in my opinion, for A.J. Brown. But Kansas City, he would still work out there as well, but I don't think he would be happy in Kansas City, because in Kansas City you're not going to be able to demand the ball. Like, that's not how it's going to work over there. That's kind of why they got rid of Tyreek Hill to begin with. So a guy like A.J. Brown, like his mold doesn't necessarily fit in Kansas City. It would fit in Buffalo. It would fit in New England. It would fit in Baltimore. Baltimore being my favorite of the three. But who knows? Could end up staying as an Eagle. This is where I need Brucey Bruce, man. Hold on, I gotta check something real quick on my thing, so I gotta... Okay, yeah, he's good. Good setup. I just had to check and see who all was set up as panel members. I gotta have you set as a panel member before you're able to actually hop up onto the panel. That way we're playing it safe. We don't get hit by no random bots that want to come up here and mess the stream up, scare everyone off.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Alright, so when I get back, we're going to go through the latest presser with Jeff Halfley. It was a pretty good one. So when I come back, we're going to do that. When I come back, we're going to do that. Okay, yeah. This is the one we want. is the one that we want. Maybe do it on the YouTube though. Okay, cool. All right, so yes, when I come back, we're gonna go through the Halfley presser. We're gonna run through it, talk about it, and talk about why this guy is the guy, and we're in good hands. If anybody wants to hop up in here and talk football, go ahead, hit that link. I'll be up shortly. I will be up shortly. Alright, so when I get back, we will hop into this presser and we will break it down and talk about it. So go ahead, hit that link, hop up here so we can talk about the future of the Miami Dolphins as we head into draft here in a couple days.
He's like, all right. On CW Miami 33. There's some truths connected to who don't give you the full story. To know that's Miami.
Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The goal is to pick the right sequence of teams who win. Right, yeah. People thought I was losing, but one win away from winning big. So they got anything done. I wouldn't win. My boyfriend about that. There. Is that true? I don't want you to understand. I want you to hold it. Yes, sir. That's why they gave me the big question. Just to give you more concept. I actually want you to learn something. That's not going to be not up in here. Not today. And boom, goes down
there. Word. Compassion. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. James Garcia claims his winnings from an online football were never awarded and says it's not his fault the commissioner failed to enter his picks. Mr. Garcia is suing Scott David in the amount of $200.
all for very standing in come to order. Quarter silent session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding. Ladies and gentlemen, you may see all parties have a courtroom. So we're doing some online gaming here. Yeah, yes, you say so. And you weren't happy with the results, and so you want $200 for your trouble. Yes, sir. Mr. Garcia, so you're suing Mr. David. Mr. David, and you know who Prince is. I've heard the name a couple of times. Oh my God. I'm paying attention to you. I'm looking at your face and those first few albums and split an image, man. That's right. I'm not going to help you here, even though I'm a Prince fan, but you know, it struck me. Okay. What's going on here, guys? All right. So I entered a football pool. Okay. What did you decide to begin with? One big football fan. You play? Just play with my dad back to back. You get you play ball a little bit. Oh, and you have been in previous football pools? Well, this is my first. This is my first. Okay. This is my first. And so you follow the sport anyway, so you figured might as well put a little money down. Right here. How did you meet Mr. David? So I met him through a mutual friend. Okay. Acquaintances, you could say. Were you guys just talking? Was it specifically because you wanted to join the pool? I just got into that. We were just chatting it up. And you said, "This is what I am." Yeah. All right. You recall that conversation? Yeah, I do a couple times. Okay, man. You yourself have any background in football? What made you decide to get into it? I played football my entire life growing up. Unfortunately, for my Achilles, for a year, I was trying to do a way to still stay connected. Right? That's the sports I want to be involved. Have you been involved with other football pools in the past? I've been involved with a few other ones, but I figured, my time was set on the time. All right. And you wanted to be the commissioner? Yeah. Why? What's the benefit of you being the commissioner of the pool? I feel like I'm a very fair person, and I know the rules pretty well, so I feel like financially, you get anything out of it.
It drove me crazy.
Organized. You don't have any dog in the hunt in terms of I get $1. No, first, no. You're responsible for enforcing the rule. Right. And by the other people joining, was there a list of rules saying here are the rules? You said this was your first time. Right. Yeah, so it's really more of a word of mouth thing. The agreement that we go about is keeping things fair. Now, how many guys will also?
All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Had to go check on the daddy-o, make sure he's good and stuff. We had a very busy day yesterday. He did a lot more than he should have, but we had fun, so he's paying the price for it today. He is paying the price for it today, that's for sure. But anyways, yes, so if you want to hop up here, you want to talk some football, you want to talk some Dolphins, you want to talk whatever, hit that link and join on in. I have to make you a panel member, though. I would have to make you a panel member as soon as you joined in, champ. So the sooner you join the Discord, the sooner I can make you a panel member and you can hop up here with us. But in the meantime, I saw Mr. Polk. I saw you hop up here. I'm sorry I missed you. If you want to come back up here, I'm here. I'm back now. Sorry, I was away. I was AFK, sir. But here we have the Jeff Hafley presser from April 7th. It was pretty good. Can't complain. Like, I liked it.
Has anybody ever noticed it? Is that why you wear it? I'm just joking. I actually really like it.
It's just first time we're getting
Sorry.
it.
Sorry if I didn't compliment anyone else's hats today.
No.
All right, who's gonna? Since you have the Expos hat on, do you want to ask the first question?
Sure.
Why is there a rule? Do you always? Hold on. Let's hold on. Let's hold on a second. Did anybody ever tell me that there's an order? Do you always? So how have you done it? How have you done it? How have you been able to get it all the time? That's how he was at the breakfast I had. He wouldn't give anybody a chance.
That's not true. Total questions asked by reporters.
I had to stop you. I at one point I had to slow you down. I was like this is unbelievable. Yeah, see, you know. So all the truth's coming out today. So
Base 44 super agents. The next thing you can't live without. No setup. Just say hello.
Go. Sorry.
So, Sully, thanks, Al. Sully was saying last week that he's been very happy with our defensive line. I like our young defensive tackle room. Do you share that faith, or do you need to see more, especially from the three guys who were rookies last year? And what on tape have you seen with Kenneth Grant from last year that makes you think he could develop into something significant?
That's 3 questions. That's why you're good. So, well, one, how do I feel about the young D-line? I thought they did a nice job, especially for, not really having a lot of experience. I thought they did a really good job. I thought Kenneth got better as the year went on. So do I like what I've seen on tape? Yeah, sure. I thought, especially for all those young players, I thought they did a really nice job. Now, I think just like any other position, I want to see it. I want to see it again, and I want to see it more, and I want to see it with my own eyes. And I want to see it consistently. So I think time will tell on how we truly feel about it, but I think they were off to a very nice start.
To build off of that,
let me get.
You defer. You defer to the building off of that, where does Zach Sealer fit in? Because he seems to be kind of a, as a 30-year-old, he's kind of a tweener in the, I guess, reshuffling, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. Where do you see Zach?
I don't see him as a tweener. He's really good in the run game. He's extremely versatile, and I think when I watch the tape and I watch what he does with all the games and all the pick games and the way he understands protection and the way he dictates what they did running their games and who to go after and which way the slide was going to, I think that's so valuable, and I don't think a lot of teams have guys like that do that. He's also such a selfless player where, he'll be the guy picking or he'll be the guy setting up games when I watch the tape for other guys to make plays. But I'm really excited that he's here. I've enjoyed getting to know him. He's got a cool way about him that I'm excited to get to know him more.
What's your position on joint practices, and you hoping to schedule some this summer?
Yeah, I love joint practices. Anytime we can compete against another.
So he mentions that he's excited to get to work with Zach Sealer more. In that he didn't really express any kind of. I didn't notice any signs that Zach Sealer's not going to be here. I didn't think Zach Sealer fit the mold for them, but according to Jeff Hafley, that's not the case. Does seem like Zach Sealer's like the type of guy in the locker room that they want there, even though he is on the wrong side of 30. But we'll see how it goes from here. I do like how you can hear the reporters' questions a lot better now. They've definitely worked on that, because that used to be a big issue. I used to have to take this film and put it into my video software and pull out the reporter questions and like raise the volume and have the AI closed caption it so I knew what they were saying. They've gotten way better.
Team, I think it's great. I think in training camp, a lot of times you go against each other every day and it just gets monotonous and you got to play against a different color jersey. Plus, you want those guys to feel what it's like lining up across different people, different competition. So we'll see where we land. I don't think we've announced any of that yet. So we'll wait until we get the green light to talk through the details. But I'm a big fan. I think they're very valuable, especially for a team that's going to be pretty young. I think it'll be a cool experience.
What does the showing up to day one of Jeff Hafley's offseason program look like for players? What do you have them doing?
Well, you can ask the players what it looked like. Today's a lot of, me kind of setting expectations, going over rules, talking to him about the culture, the foundation, my expectations. And then really for the position coaches, offense, defense, and special teams, it's probably a lot of like first day of school, get to know the coaches, let them in their position rooms go over their positional room expectations, their rules, what they're looking for. I know both coordinators spoke to the offense and the defense separately, and then they kind of broke up in position meetings. And then we got into some football because there was times, but all we're really allowed right now in phase one is working out and in those meetings. So that's what we got accomplished today.
Along those same lines, you talked about implementing this foundation of physicality and violence. How can you do that during this very limited scope of the offseason workout?
Well, I think the physicality part on the field, I mean, that really can't come when the pads are on, and that will come in training camp. I think the mental toughness, I think the strain in the meeting rooms, the strain in the weight room, the running piece of it, I think that all builds to a level of toughness, right? It's not just about being physically tough on the field. It's the mental toughness to show up on time every single day and lock in and work in the meeting rooms and take notes and be alert and just these guys are going to have to go home.
Show up every single day.
We continue to study because it's all going to be new for them. And then, gradually phase two will get on the field and be able to do individual work. And it's all going to be preparation to get them ready, right? Phase one gets us ready for phase two. Phase two gets us ready for the OTA practices. The OTA practices get us ready for training camp. But it has to be mental and physical. And right now we'll have to work more on the mental side of it.
What was the example?
AJ was not here today.
What are your thoughts on that? Wait, hold on. I don't want to ask you what are your thoughts on him not being here. I want to ask you your thoughts on the contractual situation.
His original response, he was going to answer a genuine response here. Let's go back. They asked him about A-Chain, was not in the building.
Practices get us ready for training camp.
Watch
but it has to be mental and physical. And right now we'll have to work more on the mental side of it.
What was the example?
AJ was not here today.
What are your thoughts on that? Wait, hold on. I don't want to ask you what are your thoughts on him not being here. I want to ask you your thoughts on the contractual situation.
I think those are talks for another time in between,
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work.
What's
Want
up,
to be a part of
Tri-State?
it? Listen up.
Hello, my name is Adam.
H-An and selling those guys. So I'm not I'm not going to dive into those thoughts right now. That's all. Like, honestly, that's part of the business. It's part of what every team goes through in those situations, and they'll work it out.
What's the level of excitement that you saw from the guys that are here? You know, just we saw snippets, I think, on social media of just, you know, getting here early and starting this whole phase 1 process in off season.
It's like the first day of school. I mean, there's a level of excitement. I mean, we have a lot of.
If that reporter wouldn't have rephrased his question, we would have got a more genuine answer out of Jeff Hafley, because like I said, he was about to give a pretty un-PR answer here. I feel like if we go back
get us ready for training camp,
and then he
put it all, it has
rephrased
to
the
be mental and
question,
physical, and right now we'll have to work more on the mental side of it.
and the answer
was the excitement?
completely changed.
AJ was not here today.
What are your thoughts on that? Wait, hold on. I don't want
right
to ask you
there,
what your
he
thoughts
was going
on
to
him
give
not being here.
an
I want to ask you
un-PR answer right there.
your thoughts on the.
And then he rephrased the question. And then you get the PR answer from him. The contractual answer. He should just let it ride.
Contractual situation.
I think those are talks for another time in between, you know, Achan and selling those guys. So I'm not going to dive into those thoughts right now. That's all. Like, honestly, that's part of the business. It's part of what every team goes through in those situations, and they'll work it out.
What's the level of excitement that you saw from the guys that are here? You know, just we saw snippets, I think, on social media of just, you know, getting here early and starting this whole phase 1 process in off season.
It's like the first day of school. I mean, there's a level of excitement. I mean, we have a lot of new players. We have a lot of new coaches. I think some players are probably anxious. Some are probably nervous. I'm sure some are excited and looking forward to it. Guys getting to know each other, that's going to take time as we learn to connect and get to really know one another. But the coaches were excited. I mean, I've been looking forward to this since I took the job. I mean, do I love coming to work every day? Sure. But when the players are here, then I really love coming to work every day. It's why we do what we do. There's so much more energy in the building as soon as they step in, go to the cafeteria and eat right now, and just the buildings come alive. And that's why we do what we do.
Aside from Achan that didn't report today?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody was here. I'd have to double check to make sure because we just finished up. But I mean, I don't want you to quote me that it was 100% accurate there, but I believe that it was.
You obviously poured through some of the film from last season, maybe previous seasons before that. Is there anything that really stood out to you about the talent that you inherited? And I actually want to ask you, what is your favorite game that you did watch?
I probably watched more cut-ups than games as I went through everything, so I think it'd be pretty hard to pinpoint it. Most of the film I watched was from this past season, certainly when we played against them. When I was at Green Bay, I watched all the games leading up to that, so I had a pretty good feel for the offense. Watching more of the defense was from this year. It's kind of like I said, there's some really good pieces, you know, at certain positions we talked about, and there's others that, you know, there's talent. There's young talent, and then there's some vets that are really good players too. The biggest thing for me is going to be seeing them live. I just think there's always a different evaluation when you can go out there and really see them live and watch them do the things that we're asking them to do. And it's kind of like I said to you guys at that breakfast, whoever was there. I mean, that's what makes it fun for a coach, because then we kind of get to see what the skill set's like, and then we can kind of build around the skill set. And that's what's fun as a coach. So that's what I'm really looking forward to the most.
When you guys do start practicing, is your philosophy to have offensive linemen on a whole bunch of different spots, or do you like to keep them in one area?
That's a good question. I think there's somewhere you want to see if they can be a center guard. Can it be a guard tackle? There's some guys that we'll want to see if they can do both, and then there's others that we won't. But you're only allowed to dress a certain amount of guys, so you better have depth, and you better have some that can play other positions, because at some point in the year, that's probably going to happen.
What is the best way to make a strong first impression on you for a player during this phase of off-season workouts?
Show up on time and you can give everything you have every single day. I mean, that's kind of how I view everything. I mean, it's process-driven to the point where there really is no end game result right now. It's show up, do everything you can every single day, and do the best you can at it. Whether that's in the weight room, whether that's in a meeting room, that's got to be in everything that you do. I just want everyone's best and maximum effort. and a great attitude. Like, control what you can control. You can control your attitude and your effort. So come in every day with a great attitude, come in every day with a great effort, give us everything that you have, and we'll do our best to help you out.
The two most experienced safeties you have in a room without a lot of numbers at the moment. With Zane Anderson, were there things that you and Sully saw in Green Bay, even though he was primarily a special teams player, that makes you think defensively he has a chance to be a factor? And Lonnie Johnson.
Zane Anderson played with them in Green Bay. If you have not already, go check out Cooking with the Real from a couple weeks ago. We went over all the defensive guys. Zane Anderson comes over here from Green Bay with these guys, worked with them the last couple years, was mostly special teams guy. Did get some defensive snaps last year and actually did a whole lot with them. So this could be a guy that comes in to be an instant veteran, basically replacing Minka Fitzpatrick over here. I think he's going to be a really good asset for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. Lonnie Johnson, another veteran. You're going to hear him talk about it. But I think Zane Anderson is the guy.
So what you guys saw him?
Yeah, Lonnie's played a lot of football. He has a lot of experience in the league. He's bigger than I thought. Had a really good conversation with him, so we'll be excited to really get to know him more. I think he has some versatility to him. Zane is a guy obviously I had for 2 years. I saw him take some huge steps. He started for us quite a few games. I think he probably started 3 or 4 games, made some big plays for us, was a key special teams contributor, probably one of the best that we had on the team. Was injured a little bit, but he's a guy that he gives you everything that he has. He's tough, he's physical, he studies the game. And I think I know he'll be a great teammate that the guys are really going to enjoy being around. And I think the biggest compliment that I could give him, I trust him.
Troy Aikman has talked a couple of times on podcasts about his role with the Dolphins and how he's been involved. Mm-hmm. Have you consulted with him since being hired, and how do you envision his role during the season with the team?
Yeah, I think right now Troy's been a good sounding board, and he's a guy that I've talked to a few times. We've had some really good conversations, and I'll continue to do that.
How much of the offseason program have
Troy Aikman has been a good sounding board, and he said that he'll continue to do that through the season. So where does that leave Troy Aikman and the Miami Dolphins? Like, there's a lot of hoopla and there's a lot of attention on that whole situation right now, as far as what is his role gonna look like, what's that gonna look like as far as his contract terms go with ESPN, Monday Night Football. What's that gonna look like? In my opinion, mostly just gonna be off-field stuff. Like, he's not gonna be in a whole bunch of practices, things like that. Be more Zoom meetings, talking with the higher-ups, things like that. Nothing super in depth to where it should have no effect with his broadcasting contracts. But we'll see. It's remained to be seen, right? Remains to be seen.
Do you have mapped out between now through training camp already?
I have it all mapped out.
Has it all mapped out?
I like to plan ahead, and then that way I can kind of keep tweaking as I go. But everything is planned out until the end of OTAs. Will there things that change? Yeah. I mean, I'm just like anything else. I've got it all laid out. I have an idea of what I want to get accomplished, but I kind of also want to see where we're at. So if we have to adapt and change or tweak some things, we'll do that. But it's all planned out for the rest of the way.
Quick follow. Did you feel a need to change anything in the building, like aesthetics wise, whether it's a saying or where the guys' lockers are, anything like logistically, so it feels different to them than what they experienced last year?
That's a good question. Yes and no. No, as of right now. I want to get through this whole entire OTA off season. I want to get a feel for who we are. I want to get a feel for who we have. Then I want to do that. And I also, as we develop our culture and figure out who these guys are, I also wanted to build around that. So I just didn't want, I'm very big on building around the guys that we have and will have, rather than just being cookie cutter, saying these are my 3 sayings and throw them on the wall, right? So I want to be able to get a good feel for this, spend a lot of time thinking through it, and then once training camp hits, that's what we're going with. But each year is different, each team is different. Are there some rules I believe in? Yeah, absolutely, that those won't change. Or there are some core fundamental values? Absolutely. But I think before we start throwing stuff up on the wall, I want to find out who this team's going to be and who this staff's going to be.
Along the lines of mapping out your off season, have you given Malik Willis any guidance or been like, hey, this is what we want to see from you, and what maybe has that been?
Yeah, I mean,
so before he makes any changes in the locker room, he wants to find out what this team is going to be. He wants to find out who these players are going to be. It's a good question. Something to think about. Like, what is this team going to look like in 2026? What was the saying? What was the saying that went viral for Mike McDaniel in the 2023 season, going into the 2023 season? What was it, like, check your pulse? Or if you ain't fired up, check your pulse. Something like that. What saying are we going to have for the 2026 Miami Dolphins? I got something something I got to think about. Something I got to think about. If y'all got any ideas, let me know down in the chat. Let me know down in the chat if y'all got any ideas.
I had a great conversation with him yesterday. He came off. I said, don't change who you are. I said, don't put any extra pressure on yourself. You've earned the right to be here and have this opportunity, and you've done that by doing all the things the right way. Don't change that. Don't press. Just be you. And I want to make sure that he understands that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes made. But I want him to play with that confidence, and I want him to play the way he's always done it.
When it comes to classroom teaching, what do you want to make sure you do, and what do you want your coordinators to do in terms of making sure they're learning in the best way?
Fundamentals and technique got to come first. This game's still about blocking and tackling. It's about making sure your eyes are in the right place, your hands are in the right place. It's about your feet.
Fundamentals and technique. Fundamentals and technique. If y'all have been here, y'all remember, we can go all the way back into the off season when we were going over all of the coaches' resumes. We were going through and digging through the coaches' backgrounds. The whole time, what was the emphasis of what we were talking about that all of these coaches stressed on? Fundamentals and technique. Fundamentals and technique. And he's stressing it here. And this is how we're going to build. This is how these guys, sorry, not we, I'm not included in that, but I will report it for you the whole way. But this is how these guys are going to build a winning franchise, a winning football team, through the fundamentals and the technique.
I want to start with fundamentals, and then I want to get in the scheme.
To remind you that 60% of sales on Amazon come from independent sellers, just from Planetary Design.
I think we have time because of the extra weeks to probably get through the installs twice, because I think as we go through the install the first time, like if I were to install something to you guys right now, I think you'd absorb some, but then when you hear a second time, I think you'll absorb even more. And then we get in the training camp and it's the third time, then I think you start to get it. So I'd like to be able to get through the installs twice before we get out of here.
I know it's early, but since you have OTAs and all of that mapped out already, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you know some of the training camp practices might look like in terms of some coaches stress, let's get in, let's get out, get our business done, and that's it, versus spending every minute you can on the field and the level of physicality, and also balancing adjusting to the heat versus not, wearing the guys out.
This question here is so important because I've stressed this going to these training camps and experiencing these training camps with these guys in the middle of the day, in the hottest part of the day in South Florida. I've always thought was an issue, and like I'm sitting watching these guys and I'm sweating pounds, gallons of sweat. I can just imagine how they feel out there on the field. So Jeff Hafley's answer here is actually pretty intriguing because he mentions something about that. He mentions like you don't practice in the hottest part of the day. So could this mean that we could see either earlier morning practices during training camp or maybe later in the evening, which is how it should be, because like practicing from 12 to 3 during the hottest part of the summer is not the smartest thing, especially for injury concerns.
Because of the heat.
Well, the heat, you got to be smart. We can't just go out every single day at the hottest point of the day and wear ourselves out. I don't think that would be very smart of us. As far as practices and practice time go, I think a little of both. There's some days practices are going to be shorter. So say we have a really long practice on day one, then there might be a moderate practice, and then there might be a shorter practice. But I think you have to set things up, and we have to talk to the trainers and the strength staff, and we have to understand how many reps we can, how we build them up, how we lower it down, and how we change the volume so that we can recover and continue to build. There's going to be some long, hard physical practices, and there's going to be some quick physical practices, and then there'll be some fast non-physical practices. We just can't go out there every single day and bang shoulders and think we're going to wind up being healthy. So we got to be smart about it. I think there's a fine line, and I think we want to toe that line as far as how physical we're going to be, especially having a lot of young players. I think to get good at football, you have to play and practice football. Football's a physical game where there's blocking and tackling, and that's going to be part of training camp.
You two housekeeping about two players, Isaiah Johnson and Jordan Colbert. They're two players who both switched positions last year. I know they're injured now. I'm not necessarily sure where Colbert is. Do you envision them staying at those new positions, or are they going back to the old positions?
We've talked about it. I kind of think we're going to have to see them and how they move around and where they fit into the scheme. So I think time will tell.
Talked a lot about kind of adapting your coverages to the players that you have. You just mentioned adapting kind of the sayings and everything to the players you have. Why is that so important to, I guess, adapt to whoever you have in the building?
Well, one, when you play football, I think it's our job to maximize our players' talents. If we get good press corners, we should press, right? If we get guys...
And this answer here, too, and this question was actually a really good one, and this answer is really good, too, because it's like he's an open coach, like realizing that you may not necessarily get to do things your way 100% of the time, and you might have to adapt, and you might have to change things, and you might have to evolve your game to best suit the players that you have available to you. This is one of the things that I felt Mike McDaniel really struggled with. I feel like Mike McDaniel really struggled with the idea of adapting to the talent that he has available. Same with Mike or Vic Fangio when he was here as our defensive coordinator. He didn't want to change his game at all. He didn't want to change what he was doing at all. He just wanted our defensive players to do what he knew best, and that's why it didn't really work out well with his time here in Miami. So this is a great question and a great answer from Jeff Hafley.
That are better corners at playing off. We're playing zone coverage, and I just decide we're going to press all the time. I think that's bad coaching. I mean, that never made any sense to me. I mean, people say I thought you were a big press guy. Yeah, I am. I mean, when I was in Cleveland, I think we pressed all the time. We had a Pro Bowl corner and pretty much a Pro Bowl corner and a Pro Bowl nickel and 2 Pro Bowl safeties. I mean, it's what do you have, right? Other places I've been, I've had really good corners that can play zone. It's just, I think that's our job. And now adapting sayings and logo, like, I also want there to be some ownership within the team. I mean, each team's going to be different, right? I think it's a shared vision that I lead, and I want guys to take a lot of pride in it. And I think you do that by building it the right way through who you have and what your team becomes and who is your team. I mean, I could tell you right now what I want the identity of our team to be. I'll tell you when training camp is done who we really are, or else it's just a bunch of coach talk, and I'm full of it up here. I'm not just going to throw out a bunch of phrases and lingo. I mean, that's just not me. I mean, I want to find out who this team is, and then I want to match that with who we become so it's real, and I'm not saying one thing and we're playing like another thing.
You talked about allowing Coach Duggan to kind of run things on defense.
I don't think anybody in the locker room's going to slap this guy. I'm just saying. And Coach Duggan, who they're about to talk about right now, I don't think anybody's going to slap him either. He's a pretty big dude. All right, let's go. Let's roll with it.
While you take care of some of the head coach duties, I was curious, as you get to this process with players arriving back and draft prep, how would you describe the collaboration between scouting staff, coaching staff, the entire operation so far as you work through all that?
Well, you asked me a lot there, like between me and Sean, between...
The entire collaboration process between you and your different various staffs.
Yeah, I mean, the collaboration right now with the draft stuff's gone great. I mean, Sully's in there with the scouts, and they're all working all day on the draft. And what we do right now, to give you an honest answer, is we usually take the mornings, and we've been doing scheme and football, and then we'll break for lunch. And then the afternoon, I want everybody, you know, taking the list that Sully's given to the coaches of the guys he wants us to evaluate. And we've been diving in on the draft to help as much as we can in that regard. So I think there's great collaboration.
Taxes was chasing updates. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert.
Actually, speaking of that and evaluating draft players, I'm assuming that you and Sully spent a lot of the past year evaluating guys who fit Green Bay Packers. But how does that process change when you change teams? Do you take guys who you've already scouted on your board? Are you starting over, or like what is that process like now?
I mean, I think there's X amount of players, and I think you scout those players. As far as fitting into what we did at one place or the other, I think you take the best players, the toughest players, the guys with the highest character. I think those are all the things that aren't going to change. We want guys that love football. We want guys that play football the right way, and we want to draft really good players too. So we got a lot of picks. So we'll see.
Sully talked about linebackers. What made you all want to keep Terrell Dodson, and what made you want to re-sign Willie Gay?
Well, just the way they play, the physicality, the toughness. They've got good experience. They got better throughout the year. And I think there's some talent in that room. There's some pieces there.
Coach, how are you?
Sorry, go ahead.
How have you adapted to being a head coach and now living in Miami? It's a different place than where you were accustomed to. Have you adapted fully to life here and to life as a head coach?
I'm excited to get more adapted to living here. I've pretty much seen this building in my hotel room. My family will be here soon. They're actually moving Thursday. So that I'm very excited about, because then I'll be able to get into a house and experience a community and get to know some other people. But I just really haven't gotten to experience very much right now. I'm really looking forward to do that. It's just been pretty busy. Being a head coach in front of the room.
He got hired in what? January? end of January, beginning of February, somewhere around that time. Here it is, middle of April, so 2 months in. This man don't even have a house yet. Man hasn't even moved his family yet. He's over here looking like Rory McIlroy, right? Probably flying back and forth between Miami and his where he lives at now to see his family. Man's been putting in that work. Man's been putting in that work since he joined the Miami Dolphins. Gotta get behind it. Like, he ain't even bought himself a house yet. He said that'll come. That'll come eventually. That will come eventually.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Just been out there putting in that work. This is why I get behind Jeff Hafley and what they're trying to build right now, man. The whole time during the DCC when they were walking around the 5K, man flew from Combine to Miami to walk the DCC, to walk the 5K, and then flew back to continue the studies with Sully. So this guy's been working hard. The whole time they were walking that DCC too, he was just talking draft, talking football, talking scheme, like the whole time. I'm just sitting there walking in front of him, listening to everything. Let's move on.
Again today, I mean, I did it for 4 years, and you could say that, you know, the level changed, but it's still coaching players, and it felt comfortable and exciting, and I enjoyed it, and I'm happy to be back in the role.
The full group? You had the full group today?
Full team?
Well,
Yeah, we had them all.
how long did you talk, and what's one thing you can share that you relayed?
How long did I talk for? How long do you think? If you had to guess.
12 minutes.
No, I probably talked for longer than that. Well, I had to introduce the offensive staff, the defensive staff, some other people. It probably went for close to 25 minutes, maybe under.
Is there one thing you can share that you wanted to make sure they heard?
Just how excited I was to be here. I can share that with you.
You hear you hear the term player led a lot. Do you want a player led team, and what does that look like to you tangibly?
I think everybody ultimately wants a player-led team. I think you have to work towards that. I think that we talked about accountability, right? I think that's huge. I think you set a standard, which I've talked to you guys about as a shared vision that we agree upon, and then I think it's our job as coaches and my job as head coach to make sure that everybody is doing everything they can and being held accountable as they try to strive towards that standard that we're setting. I think over time and experience, you're in hopes that the players start holding each other accountable. And we talked about that today. I mean, truthfully, without joking with you, we did talk about that today. Accountability is really important to me.
Accountability, let's go.
Ultimately, having it one day become player-led, that would be awesome.
Say one day player-led. At this stage, can you identify some guys you believe will be or hope will be, or you just let it play out throughout the spring or summer?
There's guys that I have in my head that I'm hopeful, and there's guys that I think that in time we can guide to be there. But you'd love to see that organically happen and not be forced upon, right? So that's what I'm excited to see as well. But I think, you know, a lot of times I've heard in the past in my coaching experiences, we don't have any leaders around here. We don't have any leadership. I don't buy that. I think you can help develop guys into become leaders and show them the right way in their own way, how to become good leaders. And I think that's my job as a leader, is to help guys do that. Now, at the same time, I've had this conversation too. Like, I don't want to force upon a guy right now to have that burden, because I want them to focus on doing the best that they can, especially early in this stage, right? So it's okay right now if I'm the one having to hold everybody accountable while they can focus on what they have to do, become the best player in this new scheme, in this new environment. And then hopefully as that becomes normal, then they can do that. Does that make sense?
This is a guy that understands the process. We're in such good hands. He literally just played out the process for you, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this works. This is translatable through multiple careers, multiple things that you do. It's a process to ensure that a person becomes the best at what it is that they're doing. And I can use myself going back into my food days, back to my restaurant days, for example. When I was a manager, I was a young manager leading younger people and having to train them to be the best. And I trained multiple managers. I trained multiple employees that went on to do extraordinary things, moving up in careers, even moving out of food to take on different careers. And it was a process, much like what he explained there, how it's like you got to understand that you can't put too much on their plate at one time. Like, it's a process. You're gonna give them a little bit, get good at that, give them a little bit, get good at that, give them a little bit, get good at that. Everything needs to happen organically as well, right? Because they have to want it. They have to want to be good at that. You can't force that. That's something that you need to try and instill on them organically. So yeah, man, this guy understands the process and understands that it's not an overnight thing, but it's a thing. It's a developmental thing that could take days, weeks, months, maybe a year or two. So let's effing go. Smash that like and subscribe for that, man. This guy is... Tell me you can't get behind this guy right here, man.
How do you help them elevate themselves as a leader?
You talk to them. You teach them. You call them in and give them examples. Or you see, you do something that I overhear, I see, and I grab you and say, hey, man, that was pretty cool. I mean, I appreciate how you were talking to that young guy or helping that young guy, and that's good leadership. And you guide them, and you show them examples. Or in the team room, you show them clips of great leadership, what certain guys have said, what certain guys have done, and you give them examples. I think you need to show people rather than just talk about it.
There's nothing like a complimentary third night on select bookings made through Amex Travel.
Go ahead.
With the, I have heard, I'm not 100% sure, but that you would run a 4-3 base defense, or ideally run a 4-3 base defense, but then everybody always talks about wanting to be hybrid. How do you know that if you don't know your personnel?
I just look at defense a little bit different when you look at 4-3 versus 3-4. For example, right now, if a team comes out in 11 personnel, right, one tight end, one back, 3 wideouts, on early downs, most everybody's playing 4 down. You're 4-3. So whether you say you're a 3-4 defense, most teams versus 11 with a nickel on the field are going to be 4-3. So there's always some element of it. If you watched my film in the past, you might say, oh, he's 3-4 here, but we're still playing with 40 linemen. So were we 4-3 or were we 3-4? We were 4 down, 4-3 base, but we were playing 3-4 odd spacing. We just reduced the front, kicked the backer down. So now it looks like we have 5 down linemen and we look like we're playing 3-4. So I think there's an element of everything. It's just who do you decide to do it with? If you're better off playing it at a 3-4 personnel, you're probably only going to do that in 12 and 21 personnel, in my opinion. Or what I'd rather do is play it at a 4 down. If I have to change based on who our roster ends up with, then I'll change. But I got no problem doing that. You're going to see elements of both regardless. You just might see different jersey numbers and people doing it. It's like, here's another example. You want to call it a 4-2-5 or a 4-3. Like, what's the difference? You got a nickel out there. Well, what happens when I put in a big nickel, a safety to play the nickel? Is that a different? It's all the same. It's just jersey numbers and people. So I don't get too caught up in all that stuff. I think I'm getting a cold in here. It has nothing to do with the questions. I'm like, you guys can tell too. I'm like, I'm going to have some tissues up here by the end of
General question. We often use the term, or I often use the term, they didn't select this guy. How does that matter? If you're judging a guy and you didn't draft him, you didn't sign him as a free agent, are you a little quicker to let him go to get one of your guys in?
No, I just want the best players. I mean, I don't care whose guy it is. I mean, we've all made mistakes in evaluating players. I mean, it is what it is. Whoever we have, our job as coaches is to develop whoever is here to be the best players that they can be. I personally don't, I could care less who drafted them, where they were drafted, when they were drafted, when they were signed. Our staff has to develop whoever is on our roster. We need to coach them and get them better, period.
Back to Marcel's question about how you and Sully operated from Green Bay to here. As head coach, are you more involved with the draft process and the scouting, or because of all the responsibilities, you may not be able to be as in it as you'd like?
You're more involved because, all right, so for example, when I was a defensive coordinator, I only watched the defense. But now I got to watch the defensive prospects and the offensive prospect. So from that regard, I'm way more involved because I'm going to have watched most of the guys in the draft. Does that make sense? And I just think him and I talk a lot, so there's a lot more back and forth than when I was the defensive coordinator.
How do you think the draft is? Value, quality, where's depth?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I'm excited about it. I mean, do you have a more specific question?
What position can you get good value in day 3?
All of them. Well, think about it. I mean, there's historically, day 3, you've gotten some quarterbacks that pop up, right? I mean, some really good safeties that I've coached have been day 3 picks. Some corners that we all know of that some have turned into guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, so could be all of them. That's vague too, but I mean,
safety,
I'm not trying to be vague. I'm actually trying to answer your question. I really am. I'm not trying to. So, sorry, I didn't answer that one very good. We good? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. So that was interesting there. That was actually pretty interesting there. What he said about the day 3 picks there at the end. He did mention, like, he said that you can get good value in all of them, but then he went on to name 3 key positions: quarterback, safety, and cornerback. What's up, Kenna? What is up? So that's interesting there. So could we be looking, because we have what, 4 day 3 picks, and depending on how round 1 goes and who falls where, we could end up with an extra day 3 pick. Because I mean, let's look at the scenarios, right? We have 2 first-round picks. Let's say the guy that they're going for doesn't fall to 11, but the next guy that they wanted is somebody that they could probably move back a couple spots for, grab an extra round 3 pick, move back 3 or 4 spots, still grab the guy they wanted. So now we're working with 5 day 3 picks, 5 round 3 picks. Could definitely tackle a lot of needs in round 3 with 5 picks. 100%. Could definitely lock down all 3 of those positions that he mentioned. And I think in round 3, you still pretty much will have the cream of the crop of all the quarterbacks, right? I don't think any quarterbacks other than Fernando Mendoza and maybe Ty Simpson will be taken off of the board in round 3. And if you got 5 picks, now at the moment we only got 4, but like I said, there's a scenario where they could get more. If you got 5 picks, like, shit, might as well, right? Kenneth says they do most of their best work in the middle rounds. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't catch that the first time I watched that presser. I didn't catch him saying mentioning that. So what would it look like though? So you got quarterback, safety, and cornerback. What would be those players in that day 3 slot? What would those players be? I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second. Just give me a list of all of the. Just give me a list of them all. Alright, here we go. I don't want to accept all these cookies. Alright, so day 3, round 3, we gotta get through. What pick number would that be starting at? Got 65. 65-ish. So cornerback, you would have Davison, Igbonosen. You would still have, like I said, all the quarterbacks would be available still at that time. What, Kamari Ramsey? Get Jalen Ramsey's little brother up in here to slap the shit out of Jeff Hafley if he acts up. Chandler Rivers, cornerback out of Duke. Devin Moore, cornerback out of Florida. Dalen Everett, cornerback out of Georgia. You got Garrett Nussmeier there in that area. Drew Allar, safety Genesis Smith out of Arizona. Safety Zakee Wheatley, cornerback Malik Muhammad. Got Carson Beck in that area. Will Lee the third. These are going down. Now we're into like the hundreds. You got Bud Clark. So it's deep. It's a freaking super deep draft this year as far as the positions in need that we go, especially in the middle rounds like that. So like I said, there is a scenario where the guy that they don't want at 11 or the guy that they want at 11 is not there, and they decide to go ahead and move back a couple spots, grab the second guy or the third guy that was on their board, gain an extra third round pick. So now they're working with 5 third round picks and could easily clean up a lot of the needs and probably get day 1 starters out of majority of our draft picks this year. Just based on need and the coach's understanding of skill set and position. Quarterback, safety, cornerback. Those are the three positions that he mentioned for those middle rounds. Day 3 picks. So, let me know. Let me know what y'all think. Some of the possible names that we might see getting picked day 3 for the Miami Dolphins. Drop those comments. Drop those in the comments below. Drop those in the comments below for show. And if you got any other comments on any of the other news that we've busted down for you throughout the show today, remember we covered a lot. There was a lot that we covered. We went over everything regarding the AFC East and a lot of other teams and player news from around the league. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. If you have not already, smash that like button. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. And also, we're so close to that 500 subscriber mark that we got our giveaway going on for that Mike Gesicki autograph photo. It's going out to one of you lucky members out there. One of the fam. One of the AFC Eastieeboys fam. But of course you got to be plugged into the Discord. So if you do want a chance at winning that photo when we hit our 500 subscriber mark, make sure you're plugged into the Discord so that we can get a hold of you. It's super easy to find the Discord. It is in our profile page. It's in the links. You can hit them. You can hit the link and join right in. It's also how you can get up here and chit chat football with the AFC Eastieeboys, or just talk football in the chats 24/7 access. Got fantasy football going on. If you want to join the league, let me know in the Discord. We have a special chat for that. Only accessed for the fantasy football league members. So lots of cool stuff going on over here with the AFC Eastieeboys in Discord. Lots of stuff coming at you in the future. So like I said, if you have not already, then go ahead and
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
But this has been your boy Cat in the Hat, and we broke down all the NFL news and Dolphin related news for you. Like I said, I appreciate all of you that stuck around for this long. Until next time, peace out.